I guess I wanted to start off. I mean, let's start at the very beginning, man. How did you originally get into photography? You picked up your first camera in like 2014. From then to now, like, when did you decide that concert photography is what you wanted to do?
So music has kind of always been like a huge part of my life, and like it really was when I was 12 to 13 was when I first like heavily got into music. I went to my first concert sometime near the end of 2013, and then I found this publication that needed writers, and I was like, hey, I like music. I could maybe do that. Had
Nice.
zero experience whatsoever. Did it anyway, and they're like, hey, do you want to shoot this show? And I was like, hell yeah. I kind of always liked photography. Like,
Right.
I remember being like a small child torturing my whole family with this Polaroid camera my dad got me.
Nice.
So, the first show, I actually didn't own my own camera. I had to use my friend's. And
Been
so
there.
I'd never even, like, touched a DSLR. I had no idea what to do with the thing. And just kind of went in blind and ended up just falling in love with it.
Nice. Yeah, that's how mine started. Yeah, I was shooting. I was working at the student newspaper down at Indiana State University, and I think it was like Jason Aldean was coming. I was like, yeah, I think I want to take pictures of that. I had never touched a DSLR. Literally, the photo editor set it up and said, "Here, go." I said, "Oh, okay." And I was like, cool. I didn't have a DSLR for like the first 2 years of shooting concerts. I just used other people's. It was just, yeah. And then I realized I wanted to do it. I was like, maybe we should buy one. So I had no idea what I was doing.
For me, it was like after that first show, it was immediately like, this is what I want to do. So, I mean, I was 14, so I couldn't have a job yet. But I got
Right.
my first job at 15, saved every paycheck for like months, and bought a Canon T3i.
Nice. That's what I think that was my first one that I bought too. What was the site? Is it the same one that you're shooting for now?
No, it's actually, it doesn't exist anymore. It was
Really?
called Plugged In Promotions.
Okay.
And they shut it down, I think, around 2016, probably.
Oh, gotcha. So who are you with now? You
Yeah.
told me at a show, and I can't remember.
Now it's New Fury Media.
That's
which is
what
a lot-
it was.
Like, a lot bigger and a lot smoother.
A little bit more professional, kind of, like a little bit more structure, kind of.
Less hole in the wall type of deal.
It's not just some dude with a computer that says, "Hey, go do this." It's like a little bit more, structure.
Yeah, there's like a lot of people who all like have their area and make it.
Nice. What was that first show that you shot that made you fall in love with it?
Oh god, I kind of like don't like to tell who the artist was because it's so cringy. I was like the stereotypical scene kid. Okay, so just
Right.
with that in mind, the first show I ever shot was Blood on the Dance Floor.
Hey, I've shot them. It's cool. Like, yeah, like, dude, they're a fun. Say what you want, dude. They are a fun band live. They were like, I don't know what it like. I shot them at Warped Tour 2012, and I didn't know anything about them. I was like, yeah, I've heard of them, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like,
Like back then, like it was the shit. But now, like today, knowing all the stuff that's coming out about the singer, it's like
Yeah.
I don't want to associate with that. So I try
Right.
to tell people I was there for like Davey Suicide, who opened.
nice. Oh, he's
I
good
actually
though.
did an interview with him that same show.
Really? So, like, the first show you shot, your first show you shot was also like your first, like, interview.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like
it
that.
was kind of awful because
He's not easy to interview though. Like he's not I've interviewed him. He's not a talker. Like
he was really cool with me, but the issue was like I barely knew how to use my camera.
oh,
And so my dad was actually filming it for me.
nice.
We didn't have like an external mic or anything.
Right.
And Davey is twice my height easily.
Yeah.
Like one, because he was wearing like his giant platform shoes
Oh,
and
God.
everything. So my dad was so far back just to get me in the shot that you couldn't hear anything.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, like
So halfway through, too, this guy rolls up on a bike and starts trying to break into the car next to us. And, like, Davey stopped the interview and, like, chased the guy off.
Oh my god. Oh my god, yes.
That was legendary.
Oh, that's like the best interview story ever. Like, that is so awesome. Like,
I love Emerson Theater.
oh, good god. I've seen, don't even get.
It was like around the corner where that bar is.
Oh, wow. I interviewed a band in the parking lot behind the venue, and the show had like 3 people at it, including media, and the band knew before the show, like when we were doing the interview, how poorly it sold. And it was just, oh my god, it was a bad night. It was so rough. Like, they were in a shit mood, and like, oh god, it was bad. I felt so bad for them. I mean, so at what point, I mean, you've branched out, you started doing stuff more than just concerts. I mean, when did you branch out? Because you've done some, like, engagement shots, some senior photos, some band promo. Like, when did you decide to branch out and start doing more than just shows?
I think it was probably, 2015, I was just, like, taking pictures of my friends, just trying to learn everything I could. And then in 2016, I was, like, managing my friend's local band, which, I mean,
yeah,
not really, like, any
We've all been there. We've all been there, yeah.
They didn't know the local scene, and I did, so I kind of, like, stepped in and helped them out. And so that's when I started doing, like, promos and getting into more, like, music business aspect, I guess.
Right.
Rather than just, like, I take pictures of shows.
And
I just kind of slowly started offering to do more.
Right.
Even though I had no experience. And some people just, like, saw the concert photos and were like, oh, okay, you can probably do this. And it kind of branched out from there.
Right.
The first wedding I did was just a family friend, so that's how that happened.
Hey, we've all been there. I mean, the concert photography stuff helps. I feel like that helps get, like, some of the band promo shots, because you can be like, hey, I photographed this band and this band and this band. You want me to take pictures of you guys too? I mean, that's how I've been able to set some of that stuff up is, hey, take a look at this stuff. I can do this for you, you know? Like,
yeah, that really helped in terms of, like, I never really started getting paid until maybe 1 to 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, especially just for music stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's so difficult. But it got to the point where it's like, hey, I'm being hired by this band that's playing. Do you want photos too? And that, like, really helped.
Yeah, it's kind of it's funny but also frustrating when people, like, think this is, like, our job and, like, this is what we get paid full time to do. It's like, oh my god, I want your job. And it's like, you can do it. Like, are you sure? Like, you won't make any money. You know, I always get a kick out of it when people say stuff like that, because it's just, anymore it just gets more just annoying than anything. But, like, there's still that, like, one person that just doesn't get it and stuff like that you kind of have some fun with them here and there, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
Like, I mean, we've done a couple shows together. What was the last show you did before all of the COVID stuff hit?
I went to Chicago with the day after.
Oh, I think I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, and I was supposed to go on, like, another weekend run with them in March that ended up getting canceled.
Yeah, everything did. Like, how, like, like, this whole COVID thing is just fucking all of us up, I guess. I mean, what do you miss them, like, how is this affecting you? I mean, a lot of us are dealing with, like, you know, we're bored or depressed. I mean, how, like, you've at least got, like, school off and on to keep you busy and stuff like that. Like, how, as a photographer and stuff like that, what are you doing to keep yourself busy with all of this bullshit going on?
Really nothing, like, photo-wise. Yeah. I'm still working at a restaurant, which is awful. It sucks a lot.
Why?
The restaurant right now is just so slow that it's like you're getting paid to sit in the back for, like, 6 hours, maybe make one order every 20 minutes. Eesh. But then I had 2 weekend runs in March that both got canceled that I was being hired for, and then I was actually going on tour the end of May, which has now been postponed.
Right. Yeah.
As of yesterday.
When they say postponed, part of me thinks that's just a polite way of saying canceled without pissing people off, probably. I mean...
Yeah, this one, like, they're really trying to reschedule it, but it's going to be, like, September, so... Yeah,
I've talked to a couple bands this week that are like, yeah, the tour's supposed to go on, but we're just waiting for that phone call right now. It's like, nobody knows, like, what's going on. I mean...
Yeah, it changes every day.
Yeah, I mean... And there's so many, like, tours. I know Bailey is super pissed off about the My Chemical Romance tour being canceled. Like, that's something we're going to have to talk about. But, I mean, like, what tours got announced that you were, like, super, like, amped about that now you're just like, man, can't go to that now?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think I had a lot in April.
Right.
But the tour I was supposed to go in May, that one's the one that, like, really hurts.
Yeah. This was going to be, like, a fun year for shows, too. Like, so many things got announced a few months ago that now, like, we're just like, is it going to happen? I mean...
Yeah, like, I had never toured up until this year. Like, it really started taking off, and then it just feels like everything got stomped on.
Man, that's I haven't done like a traditional tour, but I same thing as like you've had, where I've had like local bands or small level bands and stuff like that in the state that I know that are like, hey, we have all of these dates. Can you come to all of these? And like, I'm like, I think I can get to Tennessee in 3 days. I don't know, probably. Like, I'm not, maybe, you know. I mean, dude, when all of this stuff is normally going on, like, how do you, I don't know how you do that. How do you balance, like, going to college and doing concert photography full time? Because you're going to Ball State, but you're down in Indy all the time doing shows. Like, that's a drive, dude.
It's about an hour, and then on top of that, I still work full time.
How do you balance that, man? Everybody asks how I do it, but I'm like, I just work and shoot. Like, I'm not in college with, like, classes, you know?
Everyone always asks me this and thinks that I'm just absolutely insane. The biggest thing is I don't sleep.
Yeah, that's my answer to everything is I don't sleep. Yeah.
I don't sleep, and I don't have, like, a social life outside of going to shows.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm realizing is I, like, literally have no life. My life is work and, like, concerts and sports, and that's it. Like, I don't have friends. I figured that out. Like,
it's like all my friends are in other bands.
Yeah, they're either bands or other photographers. Like, yeah, we're all just sitting around. I mean... Yeah. What made you decide to do Ball State? I mean, I know they've got a great journalism program up there, but what made you decide to do Ball State over other colleges?
So originally I was trying to go for music and sound production. I went to JEL in Indy, like the Career Center for 2 years, and really liked it. But then to get into the program at Ball State, you had to like audition, even if you're just doing like production stuff, and you would have to have like sung an Italian opera or something. That was just like not.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
What I do. And so I started in telecom, and I switched after one semester to entrepreneurial business management.
Nice.
But really, it was close to home. My mom had actually went to Ball State.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, keep it in the family. That makes sense. I mean, hell, I moved from Iowa to go to Indiana State, so I can't really say the same thing about it being close. So,
it was cheaper. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm from Nobel, so it's like...
Yeah, that's not horrible. I mean... Yeah. I mean, we all have those bands that we love to shoot. I mean, who are some of the bands that, like, you'll shoot over and over and over and over that you just, like, maybe they're, like, your favorite band that you just, like, want to go see them for free every time? Or maybe it's just, like, they're awesome, so you just love to shoot them. Like, who are some of the bands that you have? Because I've got mine. I mean...
A lot of them are actually smaller bands that, like, I'm more close to. There's not a lot of bigger bands that I've shot multiple times, I don't think.
Gotcha.
But I don't just, like, building the connections that I have with some of the local bands now, like, it just makes seeing them a whole different experience.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get that connection to a band, I mean, there's bands that I love to shoot that I have a connection to that I'm not necessarily, like, the biggest fan of their music, but just, like, that knowing them as people makes me, like to shoot them more and support them a little bit more, I think, you know?
So, Archers are probably my favorite band to see live. They are who I went on my first tour with in February.
Gotcha.
And, like, they're a smaller band from Wisconsin, but they're so good.
Right.
I've always thought they were so good. And then, like, I lived in a van with them for 5 days, and they became, like, some of my best friends. And now I'm just like, I just want to see you guys take over the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, I feel like some of those smaller bands, like the bands that play, like the Hoosier Dome or the Emerson or the Citadel when it was around, or maybe it's still around, but it's also not around. Nobody really knows, you know?
Whatever that is.
Right. Some of those bands are like the most fun bands to shoot, you know, like the you know, I'm not good with like the smaller level, but like the Memphis May Higher style bands, or Memphis May Fire, stuff like that. Those bands are so much more fun to watch and shoot live because, for one, they're more active on stage. They don't just like stand there, like they're jumping, they're running, they're just, sometimes they're in the fucking crowd for no reason whatsoever, and safety's not one of those reasons, you know?
There's something about the small, intimate venues that I just really love, though.
Yeah, I see. I feel like that goes either way with photographers, because some photographers won't shoot if there's no photo barricade whatsoever, and some of them, like, some people just like go in and they just don't care. They don't give a shit. They're just like, I'm going in. Like the Hoosier Dome is one of those places because like it's so much
it more
fun.
Challenging. Like, you got to learn to work in any environment.
Yeah, and you've got to know settings too, because if you can't shoot in low light, then don't shoot at the Hoosier Dome. That's one thing, because they have like no lighting for the most part. At least they didn't the last time I shot there.
It's a lot better now.
Is it?
But it's not anything compared to Old National.
Right, even Old National can be tough though, depending on the show. Though, I mean, Deluxe and the theater, Egyptian Room's okay, but like, I mean, if it's an opener that you're there to shoot, you're not going to have great luck, especially in the Egyptian Room for sure. I mean, like, I haven't been there in a while, but good God. Like, I guess maybe I got spoiled shooting at, like, Banker's Life and Ruoff and all these places.
I've actually only shot at Banker's Life once, and it was when I did John Bellion.
John Bellion. He played Banker's Life?
Yeah.
When?
It was, like, last summer.
Oh, okay, that's probably why. I'm so, yeah. I'm picky with shows, though. Like, if it's not a style of music that I like, I probably won't go shoot it anymore. But, like, I remember back in the day, I was shooting, like, every single show that came through. Even if I didn't know, like, be people like, who are you shooting? I'd be like, Sam Hunt. Like, who's that? I was like, I don't know. You know? Singer? You know? I mean, like... it's just crazy. I mean, what was your first Warped Tour like? Because I know you shot that, and everybody has like different experiences with that tour. I personally like did it like 5 times, and like felt like I was gonna die every single time. But like, what was Warped Tour like for you? Because I know you know who probably 90% of those bands are on that tour, and so I mean, I know that's a big one for you. Like, what was that like for you to finally be able to shoot that and to get to do that? And what was your experience like with that?
It was kind of insane. So I only shot it once, but I'd been like every year since I was 13. And so I shot it when I was only 16, which just felt like absolutely insane to me because I was probably hands down the youngest person shooting at the Noblesville date. And I'm just like looking around me like, I am child. How did I get here?
Yeah, but you also fit in at Warped Tour too, because for the most part, that's a younger demographic and crowd too. So like, I mean, that's well, I mean, depending on the show, like the shows I've shot with you, you're usually like the youngest photographer in the photo pit for the most part of the most of the shows I've shot with you.
It's like the youngest in indie that does this.
Yeah, which I wish I would have been as smart as you were, because I didn't start shooting until 2012, and I was already in my mid-20s. I was already like 25, so like, I was like, man, if I would have been like you or like Kelly Fox, who was like, when I brought Kelly on, Like, she told me she was getting ready to graduate. I thought she meant college, but no, she meant high school. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so, like, illegal right now. You know?
It has its ups and downs to starting so young. Like, it definitely took a while to be taken seriously, which was probably, like, the most annoying part.
That could be tough, yeah.
Because it was like, I was acting as professional as everybody else, but...
You kind of got looked down a little bit, or the side eye look a little bit, like, who the fuck is this kid in the photo pit?
Like, what is this child doing up here?
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of them probably thought you were just, like, some fan that snuck into the photo pit or something like that at one point, you know? Like, yeah, I mean, like, obviously you're getting older now, but, like, what was it like when you started doing this so young? Because, I mean, you started super young, I mean...
Yeah, I was 14, so it was just a lot of not being taken seriously, and then probably around 15 to 16, I had a lot of issues where it was kind of like local bands would be like sleazy band dudes. Like, I was a kid, and they would use like my photos as an end to talk to me and try to make it like...
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of fucked up, honestly.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
A lot of experiences like that.
Did that kind of jade your perception of how all of this works at one point then?
Kinda, but like I knew going into it, like being a girl in this industry was going to come with a lot more hurdles.
Yeah. And
so I've always just tried to keep my head down and let my work speak for itself.
Gotcha.
Like, I've never been one to jump on anything huge because like I love what I want to do. Or I love what I do, and it's all I want to do, so it was just kind of, I knew I had to fight through it.
Right.
And just keep looking the opposite direction.
Yeah. Warped Tour is a good way to kind of get, like, cut your teeth with this, because, like, there's so much going on, and I've always said, if you can make it through a day of Warped Tour, then you're good, because, I mean, it's not around now, obviously, but there's, like, 10, 15 stages, and, like, so many bands, and, like, you know, like, I remember I did the weekend before Warped Tour a few years ago, I think it was 2016, I did a 3-day festival in Chicago at Chicago Open Air for 3 days straight, and then 2 days later, it was Warped Tour here, and about halfway through it, I think, I said, fuck this, I'm going home. Like, I can't do it. Kelly's like, what about me? I said, you're good. You're like 20. You're good. I'm going home. I can't do it. Like,
I just remember, like, I had so much adrenaline from it because I was just so excited to have the opportunity that I was just, like, sprinting back and forth the stages.
Yeah.
I wanted to do as much as I could.
That was my first Warped Tour, too. I think my second Warped Tour was the same way, and after my third one, I was like, I'm never doing this again, and I did, like, 4 more. But, yeah, I remember my first Warped Tour, my first Mayhem, like, my first Rock on the Range. Like, you're just so excited to be there and to be at something that big and that, like, I guess well-known and famous at that point that you're just like, man, like, this is the biggest thing I've done, you know, and it's just like, you know, I remember the first Rock on the Range I shot, I was just standing on the very, very top concourse of the stadium, just looking out over, like, 60,000 people, 40,000 people, and just looking at my buddy, I was like, why did they let me in here? Like, how did this happen? This is not real. There's no way I should be allowed in here for free, let alone with a camera, you know? It's just like, it doesn't seem real sometimes, you know?
I remember there was one point at Warped Tour where, like, the 2 stages that were left and right, like, I was waiting to shoot the band on the right, and I literally, like, hid my camera under the stage, and then I ran into the crowd of the opposite stage and, like, crowd surfed back up.
Oh, nice. I've never done that. I've never crowd surfed, which I'm probably, like, the only music photographer that's never crowd surfed. And it's because I'm terrified of being dropped, I think. You know, because, like, if you get dropped and nobody sees it, you'll just, like, get trampled, you know? So, like, I just freak out. And,
I've done it so many times. Like, I'll constantly just hide my camera just to run and get in the crowd for a few.
You're a better person than me. There's no way Nope. I'm out. Favorite venues? Like, what are some of the favorite venues you've shot? Not just in indie, but just like around. Because you don't just shoot in indie. You've done some other markets and stuff. I think. What are some of your favorites? Like some of the venues you just like dread. Like we all get those press releases or see those announcements. You're like, sweet, so and so is coming. Ah, shit, it's at this venue.
For me, the bad ones are like when I get press releases and then it's a venue that's 21 plus.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, here it's only the Vogue for the most part, though.
I think so. Here I really only shoot at the Dome and I guess Old National now.
Yeah. Have you been at the Emerson since they reopened?
No, and I actually never went to Citadel either.
Really?
Yeah, I never got the chance to.
I went to shoot one show there, and it was Static X, I think, was playing. And I never went back because I didn't even get into the show. I had my everything set up that I got there, and they were charging like $20 for parking. And I was like, but I'm working. They're like, nope, $20. I said, can I park over at that other building? Nope, $20 there too. I said, yeah, I don't really want to do this show anyway. I'm leaving.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm not paying to shoot this show. Like, cause I had a 3-day festival, like 2 days later or the next day. I was like, I don't need this. I'm out. Like, I always heard decent things about that place, but I never went to it. I mean, I never
really heard anything good, honestly.
Really?
I stayed away.
Yeah, well, I only heard that from fans. I never talked to anybody that really ever shot there, I don't think. I just heard it from fans that went, said it was okay. But, like, I don't know. Like, it reminded me of when Pierre's opened up in Fort Wayne. Or reopened in Fort Wayne.
I have shot at that venue.
You have shot at that venue?
I did once, and
How?
maybe never want to again.
How did you shoot at Pierre's? It's 21 and up.
It was a all-ages show.
Oh, okay. See, I'm the other way. I'm the other way.
I was hired by one of the bands playing for it.
Oh, okay.
But then, just like the way the venue staff treated me there made me never want to go back.
Yeah, see, it was... The only issue I ever had there is nobody ever knew... When they reopened the first time in 2016, nobody knew where anything was that was working. Like... I'm talking like photo passes. The girl at the front door told me to go to merch for my photo pass, and I kept trying to tell her, like, it's not going to be. No, it's there. I said, no, it's not. An hour later, I finally had it. And, like, the only 2 times I shot there after it reopened, I was just miserable. But when it was open the first time, it was probably my favorite venue I've ever shot at, just because of the atmosphere of it. But I only shot the 21 and up shows. So, I mean... You know, seeing like Stone Sour and Volbeat and all of those bands there in such a small place was just amazing. But like, I can also see where it would be just a nightmare for a lot of people to shoot there because, yeah, it was a piece of shit. Like it just sucked. The building just sucked. Like it was like a bigger Emerson. Like you were gonna catch something just by being in that building. Like,
probably.
It was, oh my god. I was in there hours before shows with the lights on. I was like, oh my god. Like, this is horrible. And then they reopened and like, no, we cleaned it up. I went there, I was like, you guys didn't clean shit. Like, it's still really bad.
Wow. A really cool venue I went to is Lefties in Iowa.
Really?
Like, it reminds me of the Hoosier Dome, but a little bit bigger, and then they had a bar, but it was still all ages.
What city was that in?
Des Moines.
Oh, okay. See, I've been at Woolies, I've been at House of Bricks, and I've been at the Valair, and I think one other one. Oh God, Vaudeville Muse. I've been at those 3 or 4, but I've never been to Lefties. But that may have opened after I moved though, so I haven't lived there in 8 years. So.
That's true.
Yeah.
It was just a really cool place. And then they had a dog that was walking around that was also named Maya. So everyone just kept, like,
nice.
using that.
Wait, so they had a dog walking around the venue during a concert?
Yeah.
What show was that?
It was on the tour I did with Archers. It was the last date.
That doesn't sound like a safe thing to do at all during a show. Like, that sounds like a really bad idea. Like, what?
I mean, the dog was like chilling off to the side. It wasn't like running through the crowd.
Still though, like, that's. Oh my god, I feel bad for that dog. Like,
the dog was having the time of his life. Everybody just wanted to pet it.
oh, see, now that's a concert story right there. I mean, do you have any other, like, just horror stories about shows? Whether it's, like, I mean, we all have those times we had issues getting our shit at the door or the box office. We've all had security be dicks. I mean, have you had any just, like, oh my god, what the fuck, just concert stories over the years?
I'm trying to think, and I really don't think I have. The first show I was supposed to ever shoot, like, was the only one I had an issue with if they didn't have the pass. And I'm, like, texting the band, like, help. And they're like, someone's coming to get you.
Yeah.
No one came to get me.
Oh, my god.
And then it got to the point where eventually, like, the door person was just, like, just go in.
Right. Oh, my god. I've had that. I've had times where my stuff wasn't at the door, and the tour managers literally said sorry, and that was it. And I had to go home. Or, like, I went to shoot Marilyn Manson one time, and I went through the opener, and, like, nothing was at the door, and the publicist wouldn't answer his phone, reply to email, and he didn't give me a day of the show contact. So I just sat there while everybody went into the Manson show. I was just standing in the... I ended up leaving. Like, it was so bad. I've never had anything like bad happen during a show or anything like that. It's mainly before or after or whatever that, like, stuff happens. But I mean, man, like, I guess you're one of the lucky ones that hasn't had any just, like...
I guess I did just think of one headache. The John Bellion show was sold out. Mm-hmm. Almost, or something, going on at the same time as a sold-out baseball game, like right off the same road or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so every parking lot was full. And I'm just like, what do I do? Where do I park?
Yeah.
There was like 15 minutes before the first band was going on, and I'm just in like full panic mode trying to park. The traffic was already so bad because... of everything going... Oh, yeah, Gen Con was going on at the same exact time.
Oh, God.
So, 3 huge events all in the same area.
Oh, God.
You were just crawling down the road. And so finally, I ended up parking I don't even know how I found the place I did. And then it was supposed to be like $20 to park, but at that point, I was just like, I'm just trying to shoot the show. No one knows where I'm supposed to go.
Oh, my God.
And they were just like, just go park. And so I did, and then I ran, and then I couldn't figure out where to get my photo pass.
Oh, no.
Because it was, like, supposed to be at the box office. It wasn't there. So then I'm standing at the gate waiting on someone to come get me. There's, like, another photographer running back and forth doing the same thing as me. I'm just like, what is going on?
Oh, my God.
I ended up making it in with, like, 5 minutes till the show.
I've had that happen, like, during, like, the bigger sport events, like the Big Ten Championship. I left 2 hours before the show. Keep in mind, I live, like, 20 minutes from downtown Indy, and I left 2 hours before I was supposed to be there, which was an extra hour and a half before the game. And I think I finally got in and got parked, like, 5 minutes before, like, the media call was supposed to happen, and I was just like... Nothing else was going on in Indy. I was just running around, just driving around, screaming at people. I was just like, it was so bad. I mean,
it was like every big event that could be going on was going on.
Oh my God, that's one thing I hate about summer concerts and just anything over the summer is just whether it's the WNBA games I do or the concerts we do or just like you almost have to leave just ridiculously early just to get somewhere to park. And the White River shows are the worst.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. White River State Park. I found if you're doing a show at White River, if you park at the zoo and show them your camera, they'll usually let you park for free. So or get a photo pass for the Indians and just park there on game days or something. Like, it's a fucking nightmare downtown. Like, you can tell I'm a small-town person when I try to do shows and games downtown, because, like, I'm just miserable trying to get anywhere. Like,
I hate driving, like, anywhere near me. It's so bad.
I used to take the city bus downtown for stuff I do, but it would only leave town. It would only leave to get back up here at certain times, so I wouldn't be able to stay for anything after I was done shooting because I'd have to leave to get on the bus to get back up. So I mean, that just didn't work. I mean, so who are some of the bucket list bands? We all have those bucket list bands that we want to shoot, that we want to see. I mean, I think I've got a few left. I mean, do you have any of those bands that just like, before I stop doing this, I'm going to shoot this band?
Green Day is my number one.
Okay.
So they were like the first band I ever got into when I was like 9.
Nice.
So it's like always been the one band that I really want to do.
And they like never tour or come to Indy either.
No, the one time they did, I was like, I'm just going to be in the crowd.
Right. Oh, was that a few years ago?
Yeah, the like Revolution Radio tour.
Yeah, I got denied for that one. I had to go do Shoot Government Mule instead, and I was just miserable the whole night.
I didn't even try. I was like, I'm buying tickets and I'm going.
I tried to switch with Austin. I tried to switch with Austin Friedline on that one. I was like, "Hey, man, you want to shoot Government Mule?" He's like, "No." It's like, "Yeah, you do. You do. There's a baseball game. You shoot them at the same time." He's like, "No, I'm good." I'm like, "You dick."
I think my dad went to that show and I went to Green Day.
Yeah, I would have rather been at Green Day. Just pissed off all night. What's another one that you've got? I mean,
I'm trying to like remember. I've honestly done most of them now.
Yeah. I think I've got like 2 that I haven't seen or shot that I still want to, and they're bands that never come to the States or never come to Indiana. I think like Cradle of Filth is one that I just want to see, and they never come here. So, I mean,
Post Malone's someone I really want to shoot too.
Yeah, I got approved for him 2 or 3 years ago when he was here. I didn't go, and I got denied this year for him. I was like, man, like, Kiss is another one. I got approved once and didn't show up, and now I'm just denied every single time I put in for it. So, I mean,
wow.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the beginning of the year, my site actually crashed at the beginning of the year, and it wasn't up from January until like early March, and I got so excited because like, sweet, just in time for Post Malone and Billie Eilish, I have a site again, I can do shows, and then the pandemic hit, and I was like, man, I tried for 2 months to get the site up, and now I can't do shows. Like,
that happened to us like it was sometime last year. It was like the server got too overloaded.
Yeah.
And they had to move everything to a new one. Oh. And so it was down for like 3 months, and we had publicists like, where are the photos that you just took? I'm like, we're trying.
Yeah. I had reviews that I actually wrote reviews. And then they're like, hey, where's the review? I was like, on my Google Drive. I actually made a makeshift blog spot version just so I could get shit up. I was like, I know it looks like crap, but hey, the review's up. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, at the worst possible time. I mean, what are you looking forward to the most when like the COVID shit's finally over? I mean, what are you looking forward to the most as far as shows? I mean, we all miss certain aspects of shooting. I mean, for me, it's that split second when the lights go down, in between the lights going down, the crowd going crazy, the band coming out, just that rush of energy. I mean, that's what I miss the most. I mean, what are you looking forward to the most when this starts back up?
Honestly, just going on tour again.
Yeah.
That was, like, what I'd always wanted to do when I started shooting. And so this year, when it finally happened, it just, like, it was so surreal. And just, like, it felt like it wasn't real life.
Yeah.
And, like, I want to go back to that.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing when you're, shooting a show, at, like, Emerson or Hoosier Dome or Ruoff or Bankers Life or whatever. It's another thing and a completely different experience when you're the band's photographer for a show or two here and there or a full run, because it's your show. Like, you're the photographer, so like you can go anywhere, And I think it was so hard for me to adjust to that, because when I was doing that, even up through last year and this year, like, I would be doing, like, Foreigner or whatever, and, like, doing, like, the first 3 songs only, and then it was so hard, like, the next night to adjust to being, like, you can do anything you want. Like, it took a few shows for me to actually, like, get out of my comfort zone with that and, like, realize that if I want to go on the stage, I can go on the stage. And it's like song 8.
For me.
Yeah.
Like, the bands that would hire me were just like, you can go on stage, because they'd see me just, like, in the weirdest position, trying to get the shot, and afterwards they'd be like, we're paying you, you can go up there.
And then you feel like a kid on Christmas, you're like, I can? You just get that look in your eyes, your jaw drops, you're like, really?
Trying to, like, maintain professionalism at the same time.
Oh, I don't. I was like, fuck, really? Yeah, alright, cool. Well, when's the next show? You know, is like, you know, and then I'm on stage too much. And they're like, you can shoot from the crowd too, man. You're good. I'm like...
like, with the tour I was doing, I was just, like, in the weirdest little areas of the stage, like, climbing all over it, because I'm like, I can do this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, at one point I was, like, behind the drummer. I was like, I've always seen this shot. I want this shot. Like, you know, it's like, it's just completely different experience and a different kind of rush when, like, you're there for you can just do whatever you want. And I think getting used to the not having 3 songs and out rule is one of the hardest things to get used to when you're the band's photographer, because like it's song 9 and you're like, I can still shoot this and no one's gonna yell at me.
With like 2,000 photos from one set.
Yeah, like I'm like the only photographer that gets mad when somebody says you can shoot the whole set. I was like, no.
Don't give me that.
Yeah, they're like, why are you mad? I was like, because I'm going to have 10,000 pictures to go through at the end of this show. It's going to take me 4 days to get this done. Like, oh my god. Like, In This Moment and a couple others are like, you can shoot the whole show. I was like, no, don't, just give us 3 songs, man. Like,
and then you end up with just like hundreds of final edits and you're like, this is too many.
Yeah, exactly. And it's different lighting, so you can't just paste the same, like, preset or Lightroom settings onto every photo. You have to edit every shot, and just like, oh my god, they're done. They're as they are. They're done. I don't care anymore. Like, I mean,
over it.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So I mean, what was the next show that I know you had your tours and everything set up. I mean, was it basically just like the tour shows you had lined up, or were you like at shows that you actually had like approvals like in line and like you were confirmed and approved to shoot such and such show when all this happened that you'll probably be able to shoot when it's over?
I didn't have press requests in for anything.
Gotcha.
I don't think so. There was nothing really lined up besides like things I was being hired specifically to shoot.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I was literally like the next day, because I was shooting the Big Ten men's basketball tournament when it all hit, and like the next day was the day that I was going to send out all my like show requests for like the summer and the spring, and like I think I emailed Chris Shaw. I messaged Chris Shaw, who is the Live Nation photographer. I'm like, should I be a dick and still just go and put all of these in, knowing that they're all going to be postponed? He's like, no, for the love of God, don't do that to us. I was like, okay. And
there was, I think Youngblood was coming here at the start of May that I was really excited for, and that got canceled. So
was he coming to like Old National or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there were some comedy shows that I wanted to do, and then I think I'm kind of excited that I didn't have to choose between Shinedown and Louisville, and then like the Who, the Mongolian band up here, because it was on the same day, and like I still hadn't decided which one to put in for. I was like, sweet, I don't have to decide now. Like,
there was I think Amity Affliction was coming here while I was going to be on tour.
Yes.
So that kind of worked out that they both got postponed, because maybe now I can go.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like, man, now there's shows that aren't going to happen than other shows that are. And I think the Amity Affliction was one that I wanted to do. I've only shot them at Warped Tour. And I think the bands that they were with, I wanted to shoot or see or something. I can't remember who. Was it like Sleeping with Sirens that they were with or something? Yeah. Yeah, that was going to be a good one. I mean, and hopefully we'll still have some of these shows happen. I mean, we have to.
A lot of them have just been postponed, but I feel like if people can't learn to stay the fuck inside, they're just going to keep getting postponed.
Yeah.
To the point that they get canceled.
Yeah, and yeah, I think Tommy Lee from Motley Crue tweeted, he's like, can you guys stay home? I got stadium shit to do this summer. Or something like that, because they're supposed to go on tour with like Def Leppard or something. So, I mean,
I know my dad's like a huge Grateful Dead fan, and he like goes to as many shows as he can of theirs.
Oh,
and
Dead
he
and
had
Company.
like 6 tickets or something lined up for this summer that all got canceled.
Oh, man. Yeah, because, like, I think Dave Matthews had 3 nights here this year, and, like, Jimmy Buffett was doing 2 nights, Grateful Dead and Company was coming.
Yeah, my dad had tickets to, like, all of them, Ohio, Chicago.
Oh, man. Well, I mean...
Hotels booked.
Well, I mean, at least now he doesn't have to sit through all of that crappy music now, I guess. I mean...
Oh, God, he's gonna hear this.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of him, but I mean, I do like John Mayer though. I saw him live a few years ago, and I'm not a big fan, but he's good. I mean, I think he's a good fit for him, I guess. I'm just trying to save myself there, I think. I don't know. But
my dad always wonders, like, where I got, like, this bug for shows from. I'm like, Dad, look at you.
Yeah.
You were jumping over security at Pantera at my age to get on
nice.
stage and sing with them.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh man, that's so... Yeah, and like, my dad, like, my dad's the one that got me into all of... He doesn't like any of the new rock for the most part, but he's where I, like, fell in love with rock music in general. And I just remember being at Rock on the Range in 2009, and the girlfriend I was with at the time was like, what do you want to do with your life? You're not doing anything. I was like... I don't know, those people taking pictures in the front of the stage, that looks like a cool job, but I'm sure that's not a fucking job. Who does that? And then now it's like, oh, that is a... I think I saw Skillet in 2010, and my buddy was like, dude, you should use your student newspaper to get tickets. I'm like, that's not even a thing. And now I was like, okay, I was wrong. It's a thing, you know? So... I mean, yeah, I've always loved concerts, and I mean, luckily we found a loophole of being able to get into them. So, you know, I mean,
like being able to like go to somewhere you love and then get paid to do it sometimes. It's like,
yeah.
Wow, this is the life.
Yeah, I've made more money off of photography in the last probably 18 months than I have ever, I think, and that's because I started doing like the portrait shoots and stuff like that. And
yeah, that's how it was this year for me too. Like, it was slowly, like, every month I was making more and more, and then I was like, this has never happened.
Yeah.
And then just
yeah, I had a local band from here in Indy message me and say, hey, I sent them a link to the photo gallery I shot when they opened for OTEP, and they're like, oh man, these are awesome. How much do you want for these? I was like, oh.
You want to pay?
I'm like, and I say it with everyone, like, I mean, what sounds fair to you guys? $100? Sold.
Like, I feel like that world has opened up a lot more. Like, people, I guess bands are a lot more understanding of the need to pay for it, like, versus when I started. People just be like, thanks.
Well, photographers are being more vocal about it now, too. Photographers are, you know, posting on Facebook groups and making movements and all that stuff and being like, we're fucking broke, you know?
There's a lot more awareness about it, which is great because it's changed the game completely.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still hard to make good, real good money, but hey, I'll take any, you know, anything whatsoever. I mean, I've done a lot of family shoots in the last year where they're like, how much do you want? It's like, oh, I don't know. What do you want to pay? Like,
what you got?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I do a lot, because I'm so bad at trying to price myself.
Yeah, me too. I don't want to...
like, severely underdoing it, that I just, like, my go-to is, what's your budget?
Exactly. Well, my thing is, I don't want to highball them and then piss them off and be like, nope, that's way too much for me. Because I don't know what this stuff is worth. I didn't prepare for this. I literally did what you did. I picked up a camera and said, I'm going to go take pictures. Like, what do
I always panic, too. Like, when people are paying me, I'm like, what if it's bad conditions? Like, all this.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The last show I did in Chicago was the day after, like, the entire show was red lights. And I went in just being, like, I rode with them, was hired by them. Like, I was content with that. By the end of the night, every band playing it hired me. And then the lights were just red the entire show.
Oh, God. Oh, that's like everybody's worst nightmare.
It was like this dark red, not even like a workable one. So I was just in like full panic mode. Spent so long trying to edit those into a decent condition, and then I felt so bad because like they didn't look like what my portfolio did. Yeah,
and that's everybody's worst fear, is that, well, okay, so if you hire me, you know, you get hired and then like the quality sucks. Like, I mean, because these local bands, they're not necessarily playing, you know, like an Egyptian room level place. They're a lot of these bands are playing like the smaller clubs that don't have a lighting setup. You know, I mean, I shot a band down in Tennessee that was playing at a place where like Alien Ant Farm had played and ICP had played and like Nazareth and all these bands are like, sweet, we got a venue that has lighting. Nope, we did not.
That's how I thought that was going to be, because it was that Subterranean, and like I've never been there, but
I've heard great things about that place.
Got to the downstairs room and it's just this dark red.
Yeah, the band that I was with from these rooms, we were playing in Newport, Kentucky, at the Thompson House, and we're like, sweet. Framing Hanley was just here, and like all these, we saw the pictures, and like, oh, it's a giant ballroom. They did not tell us there was a second room that has no lights, that's where they put us. Like, they're like, no, don't bring your flash band, they have lighting and all that stuff, and I got there like, yes, so yeah, they don't have any lighting. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, they got chandeliers. I was like, what?
It's good in a way because you learn to work in like the worst conditions.
Yeah.
But it always makes me like panic the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, when I bring new photographers on, I'll start them at like Deluxe or Emerson or the Hoosier Dome just to, like, I make them work their way up. I'm not going to start somebody and send them straight to Banker's Life with not knowing how they can do. Because if you can get it down at those smaller venues, then you're going to be golden and in great shape for those bigger venues because you know how to work, you know?
Yeah, that's why I'm really happy that I started with, like, all the small venues.
Yeah.
Because I learned in the worst conditions, and I learned to make it decent, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know settings until probably I didn't really know settings until a few years ago because like I said, my first show, it was given to me with the settings set. So, like, for years, I just adjusted shutter speed and aperture and f-stop. I didn't adjust anything else. And then
my first one, I was like, sports mode?
Yeah. Yeah. I started shooting with, like, sports photographers for the sports side I'm with that actually shoot, like, that know settings, and like they kind of showed me, they're like, no, it's too bright, it's too dark, it's too overexposed, adjust this. I'm like, oh, that's what those are for. Okay.
Yeah, I learned everything from YouTube. Like,
yeah.
I've had so many nights where I just stayed up for so long just watching every tutorial possible just because I wanted to like take advantage of everything that's out there so that I can be the best I can be, I guess. So
how scary was it, like, using Lightroom and Photoshop for the first time for you? Because those are freaking, like, intimidating sometimes.
I didn't even use Lightroom for, like, a while.
Really?
I was editing on, like, GIMP.
Nice.
Like, yeah. Or, like, I think it was Pixlr online.
Oh, wow.
Something like that.
Wow. Yeah, I remember I got one of my photographer friends down in, like, Florida gave me her Lightroom login. Because she said, your pictures are good, but you don't edit anything, so use Lightroom. I said, okay. And that's all she did. So, like, I sat and, like, edited, like, louder than life photos on Lightroom. After, like, 4 hours, I called her. I was like, fuck Lightroom. This is horrible. So, like...
Yeah, like, I was using... My friend had Lightroom, and so I was using her login for the longest time.
Yeah, and then I figured it out. I was like, oh, I love Lightroom. It's so great. But, yeah, it was
magic.
Yeah. Photoshop I still can't figure out, but like I don't necessarily need it because I use Lightroom for everything. But like I remember the first time I logged in back in college, I couldn't figure those sites out for the life of me. I was like, what? Why do you do this? Like
I didn't really start using Photoshop until this year when I started making like the edits I have done. I still don't know what to call them.
For like my portrait sessions for like family shoots or like kid shoots, I'll use Photoshop with the stuff I know how to do, and it ends up looking pretty good. But like, yeah, I mean now I can't. My excuse is always, well, I mean I don't have time with everything I do to sit down and learn. I guess I can't use that excuse now. So it's like,
yeah, it's a lot of like, I don't know. A lot of people think that they can just go and do this, but they don't understand like how much work is actually being put in.
Exactly.
Like, it's not something that you can just... I mean, you can do it for fun, but if you want to do it seriously, like, it takes a lot of dedication.
It does. And I mean, I remember pissing off one photographer back in college because she's like, is it as easy as that? I told her, I was like, yeah, it's just pointing a camera and pressing a button. She's like, she was pissed, but now that I do this like all the time, I was like, it kind of is part of it, just pointing it and shooting, pressing the button to get the picture, but like, you have to know the settings, you have to know, you have to know your edits, taking the picture is only probably maybe half of it. It's what comes after it is all the time you spend, for one, going through the photos and getting rid of the ones you're not going to use, figuring out which ones to use, and then, figuring out what, to put your shadows, your blacks, your whites, your high, everything that comes after your, in the post is what takes forever. I mean...
Yeah. A lot of people don't, you have to sacrifice a lot to do this, honestly, too.
Yeah.
But for me, it's I wouldn't change it any other way, because this is my biggest passion. It's worth anything to me. But a lot of people think that, touring is just, fun and games. So you get to travel and shoot every night. But it's
touring
a lot
is
of work
hard.
that people don't understand.
Touring, for one, it can be very boring sometimes. And then, on top of that, it's more work being the band's photographer, because, you're not done after just 3 songs. There's the... you have to really know the set list really well, and you have to really get down the band's mannerisms, because a lot of them, do certain things during certain songs. You have to be at the right place at the right time. Every venue is different, so where you were for one song one night, it won't work for the next one, and then, if you're on tour, you have to get those photos up within a good period of time. You can't just sit on them or anything.
Overnight, you leave the show, and you have to have something to the band, immediately, so they can post about it for the most engagement, or you have to have it by the next day so they can post about the next show.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get away with the next day being like, had a great time, or thank you, Chicago, we'll see you tonight, Milwaukee, or whatever, but for the most part, you don't have a full day to get that shit up.
There was one night on tour, everyone had passed out by this point, and it was just, the guy driving and me that were still awake, and it's, 3 a.m., and I'm just, trying to get through so many photos, because on that tour, not only was I shooting for Archers, but every single night I had at least 1 to 2 local bands that hired me on top of it.
Oh, man.
So, I'm, trying to just get everything to everybody, and it's 3 a.m., and at this point, I'm straight sleep editing.
Yeah. Well, and it's you and the driver. So, the driver's trying to stay awake, too. So, you probably have the driver, talking to you, trying to stay awake. And you're like, dude, shut up.
Well, I was trying to keep him company. But then it hit the point where I'm just, sleep editing. And he looks over at me, and he goes, go to sleep. And, literally shut my laptop and was stop.
Yeah. Well, and people wonder why bands don't know what time it is when they come to do press, or they don't know what town they're in, or whatever. It's because they're fucking sleeping. They got to bed at, whatever time, and then woke up at, 2. It's
you wake up at a truck stop, and you're like, where am I?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not as, glamorous. And even, just doing, local, shows in indie is not as glamorous as everyone thinks it is. We're not backstage partying with the band for the most part. We're not. You might get lucky and have an interview backstage or somewhere around the area with the band, before the show or after the show, but, they're not, wanting to hang out with you and shit. They are wanting to do the interview and get you out. It's not... Yeah. I've had people try to buy my passes. I've had people try to, tell the security that they're my brother to go back with them. No.
Oh my God.
Get the fuck away.
There's, a lot of negatives, but... For me, it's worth it to be able to do that.
Well, yeah, we basically either get paid or get to do for free, to be around these bands that we either grew up listening to or that we're a huge fan of, and we get access that a lot of fans don't necessarily get, or we see a side of these, we see a side of things that they don't get, and we either get to do it for free or we get in for free and get paid to do it. It's... these 3 days I'm spending doing interviews with, Theory of a Dead Man, Trivium, you, just, kicking it, talking to people, because it's just all we know.
There's, a lot of people that take advantage of it, though. A lot of people don't understand you're still there to do a job.
Exactly.
You can't just, go in the photo pit and start fangirling. You're gonna annoy. Everybody is trying to do their job.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see me in the photo pit singing along and maybe rock out here and there, but for the most part, like, I'm in there to shoot and get out. It drives me crazy when people don't follow the 3 songs rule. When they're in there trying to mosh or climb on stage, or
what show was it that we were at that was chaos? Wasn't it I Prevail?
I Prevail was horrible. I mean, the show was amazing, but, like, nobody was listening to anything. I mean, like, I'm always one of the first people out after the 3 songs are up, and I'm there I'm like, really? You're just going to let them stay in there? Like, you're not going to do anything? Like, there's, like, 5 right there. Like, you know.
Like, you're looking at you're like, they're not supposed to be there.
Yeah. Or, like, people hold their cameras. Yeah, people, like, hold their cameras straight up in front of you or hold it up onto the stage. I'm like, dude, stop.
That's the annoying thing about, like, being as short as I am.
Oh, God.
When it's packed like that show was, that was so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. And it's not like you can bring a stool into the pit or anything like that either. I mean,
bring your own stools.
BYOS. I mean,
I've been tempted to sometimes because, like, it's just so bad sometimes.
At festivals, they let you. Yeah, at a Warped Tour, they'll let you do that because the photo pit's so big. But yeah, these. Yeah. Oh my God, it could be.